people to go ahead and join in on the actual draw. This is JJ, and with Stormloader Studios, I want to welcome you to the weekend drawing, just drawing and really sharing in the community. We've got a little bit of the holiday music going on, so if it's too loud, go ahead and let me know, and we'll go ahead and go on from there. We'll wait for a couple of our friends to join us. Let's see here. So if you're just watching this and you're getting the actual non-live broadcast, what we'll need to do is have you grab some paper and some drawing supplies and some water, because you'll need that to kind of keep everything going on. If you don't have water and you prefer other things like coffee or soda, tea, anything non-alcoholic based for this, because we're trying to keep it G-rated, then we can go ahead and move forward. Let's see. Let's see, and I think that's about it. Unfortunately, don't have any Halloween candy, only because that is going to be saved for tomorrow's trunk or treat that is hosted by Landing Place Church, and the church has all the candy. So, either way. But as far as those are concerned, those who will be joining us, we'll be making the suggestions. I've allotted is now 10, about 10 after 2, and the group will be coming up with a consensus of what's going on, what we're going to be drawing. I've got some ideas that we're going to be playing with, also kind of helping keep me accountable with going with the rest of Inktoberfest. I know I've got to make up for Thursday and Friday, and you guys are going to help me. So we'll go ahead and do that. As far as that's concerned, so I'll get my art supplies ready. And I got the markers, and more walk erasers, big fat Sharpie, a couple fine liners, and a couple super finers. I think that should do it. So, just as a setup here, a friend of mine by the name of Rich, him and his wife Marcy made an awesome suggestion that I think we're going to go ahead and try and do as the Day of the Dead, or best known as a Dias de los Muertos, for those. And I've got an actually pretty good idea I want to go ahead and do for them, because Marcy, you will be getting the actual original drawing for making the suggestion on that, and I'm making sure that you get your shout out during this transaction. So if you and the kids want to join me today, you're more than welcome to. If you have other events due to the holiday, go ahead and do that. Saw the kids' costumes, they look great. Glad to see that you guys are keeping their nerd knowledge going. Arwen made a beautiful Wonder Woman, and Corin made a great Luke Skywalker, or at least a Jedi. As far as I don't know if he was going for Luke or Anakin or anything like that, but he looks great. As far as we have one patron, my best friend Couch, and he is going to be joining us, and we'll be doing well, he is going to be the Grinch that stole Halloween, apparently, with his comments, but that's okay. That's what he kind of does. He keeps me going and keeps me honest and all that stuff. So if you can find a friend like that, keep them, but make sure that they're kept in check, because sometimes they can be overzealous and over-helpful, even though they have your best interest at heart. So, that being said, we're just going to wait a couple more minutes and see what's going on. Make sure we invite friends here. How about that? And that way you guys can see the side of my head. As lovely and as beautiful as that is, I'll go ahead and invite a few friends here. Let's see. Like that person. And what else do I know that can make it here? Let's see. One has them, and them, and her. And I know not everybody can make it due to obligations, but everybody else will get your invite, and those who can, hey, if you can't make it, that's great. And any suggestions you guys have will be awesome. And it's done. Done. Hey, Chris, good to see you, sir. As far as everything is going, we're doing the Whole Heart Challenge slash draw with JJ at Stormwalder Studios. So welcome. If you want to go ahead and draw along. If your brother wants to go ahead and join us, please let him know that we're on. It's going to be Facebook Live until about 4, and we're going to get as much drawing as we can. So let's see. Well, not to really beleaguer this and make sure that we get this going. Excuse me, guys. I am going to go ahead and get things taken care of now. Please bear with me as I am working with my webcam, only because my other camera is getting fixed because I dropped it. So for those of you who do get motion sickness, look away from the screen until I say it's okay, because I got to move my camera in such a way that it'll actually might give you guys a little bit of car sickness. So I do apologize ahead of time. So here we go. Turn around and over and over. Thank gosh, I have a workable tripod. That should do just fine. Oh, perfect. Okay, now I just got to make it so I can see the entire thing. Wow, that worked out really well. Hi, Mike. Good to see you, sir. Welcome to Drawing with JJ and Stormwalder Studios. Good to see you. If you want to draw along or anything like that, you're more than welcome to. Just get your paper, get your art supplies, and we will go to town. Let's see. I think what we'll do is we'll work with the first suggestion I had, which was Day of the Dead, and then we can go ahead and go from there. I'm going to go ahead and get down here. Yeah, guys, we're actually using background music thanks to Xfinity, so all the copyright stuff goes to them. I don't own any of this music. It's something that I felt that was based on some good channels. It is called Sounds of the Season, so if you guys want to join me on that, that is on our channel 941. So, and the song is by King Diamond called Halloween on their album A Dangerous Meeting. So, let's see what we got here. Días de los Muertos. Okay, and you don't have to know Spanish to actually draw this. Let me see. Well, since it was done by a friend's wife, I think what we'll do is we'll kind of give it an amore feel, as I see. So we will start with circle here. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm drawing, and I'm going to go ahead and explain my process, what I've got going in my head, so buyer beware kind of thing. I'm going to be drawing a figure here, so I usually start with the head and then gauge it from there. So what I do is start the circle for the main part of the head, and then usually I just go ahead and draw a straight line of how I want the body to flow. And really, that's kind of, I would say kind of like their circulatory system slash spinal cord, all that cool stuff for those that are in the medical field. But that's just my baseline as far as gym speak and artist speak. Then we go ahead and figure out where we want the next circle to be, and that'll be the skeleton rib cage. And we're going to go ahead and draw the next circle, and that's about where I want the hips. So here we have right now we have the head circle, the rib cage circle, the hip circle, and now what we're going to do is focus on, let's see, we'll focus on the shoulders, and those are usually gauged to be set up like this, just regular T crossbar here, okay? And the hips are the same way. Now, to start off with a good foundation is always best, and posture when it comes to the human form is really, really important. So you want to kind of give your drawing a little bit of flair, and with the idea that I have for these two skeletons, flair is really going to be needed. We want to give them that whole Chicano, hot salsa flair of that they're going to be dancing as far as that's concerned here. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of make it a half kilter for the hips, so that way they kind of have a little hip, what was it? I was watching, if anybody has seen Salinas with Jennifer Lopez, there was a lot of hip dancing and a lot of washer machine dancing, and so salsa and a lot of Latino dancing has a lot to do with hips. So we want to focus on that one. Drawing this kind of drawing as far as two salsa dancers dancing. So we have basically the head, the ribs, the hips, and they're all connected via the spine. Then we want to work on the extremities and how we want them to flare out. Before we go there, because it's a two-partner thing, I got to figure out what space I want to put the partner in. So we'll start with their head. And let's see, how do I want this? I want that. This will be our male one, so we're going to make him more dominant, or give him a more dominant position. Not that, before anybody decides to get political, men are not better than women and women are not better than men. It's just, in dancing there is a leader and then there's a follower. And in the most dances that I've seen, the male, the larger ego, because they like to in my terminology, chest up and show their veracity to woo the woman, because that's really what it is. It's a partnership, and it's a balance of showing love with the male ego and the demurity of the lady. And I know that there's a lot of kids going to be watching this, and what it just means is it's the guy showing the girl that he really, really likes her, and he's using his personality to show through. So if that makes any sense, and it has a lot to do with his happiness and his feeling of wanting to show off and just kind of have that, hey, I'm here, I want you to notice me, and all that great stuff. So that's where we're going to focus. So it looks like we're going to go ahead and go with here. So here's our male dancer. And we'll go ahead and note that here. Can you guys see that? Oh boy, the lighting really needs to improve here. That should work. This will actually show up better when I do start doing these. And this is our female dancer. Now the cool thing about drawing skeletons, as far as that's concerned, is we don't have to worry about muscle strength or muscle veracity or anything like that, or where the muscles go, where the skin goes, where the lips goes, where the eyeballs go. Skeletons are just bones. Now, as far as that's concerned, so we get into the detail of what bones go where and what they fit. Now, my knowledge of bones is not going to be as vast as some people's know, because I have some very good friends and family that are doctors and people who work in the medical field and stuff that know that a lot much better than me. So we're going to go ahead and go with some basic knowledge. And some of the stuff that I will give you will not be any of the Latin that they have to know or anything like that. So it's going to be very, very simple. And because I want to sound like I know what I'm talking about, also making sure that the kids will know what they're talking about. So if it means anything here, we're going to go ahead and go to the next part of it and start drawing the legs. This part, and please correct me if you're still with me, Mike. I don't know if you're still in the room, but please correct me if I get any of these bones wrong. We're going to go ahead, and the arm ones, I believe the top arm is the humerus. Because I know that if you bump your elbow, that's supposed to be your funny bone, and that's because it's named after the humerus. And the leg bones, the top leg bones are called the femurs. And that's as much as I know. Because the rest of it I call a forearm bone, and I know that's not right. And so we'll go from there. Everything is working out here. So we've got her bones. And now when you're drawing, it's always best to draw kind of light to where you can see it. And I know that you guys are having trouble seeing some of this stuff. You can see that you can see the head and the rib cage and a little bit of the arms and the legs where we're going. Let me go ahead and raise this up a little bit more. There we go. Now you can see my entire page here. There we go. That's better. Now you can see that a little bit more. I do apologize about how light I'm doing. I just want to make sure that once we get the full drawing going with the ink pens and all that, they know what's going on with that. Okay, so we go ahead and kind of focus here real quick and make sure that they have legs with their femurs and their humeruses. And I know there are two bones in here. One's called a tibia, and the other one I don't know, but we'll focus on that in a second. Now, a lot of this stuff, because we're drawing skeletons for Day of the Dead, they're going to be enclosed, just like where the people are. So we're not going to see a lot of the bones, but we're going to see enough to where it will matter here. So I think we got the basic skeleton, or the stick figures of what's going on. So we have our lady dancer here and our male dancer here. So let's go ahead and start getting into the details of it. Oh, forgot her arm. That's going to matter. We'll put her arm and their hand right there. And what you want to keep in mind here, guys, is that drawings need a term of balance, or use the word balance in the thing. So if you can see, for example, I have her outside arm is going up and his outside arm is going down, so that way they're both not leaning this way. They're actually stable on the page, and that has a lot to do with it, to where he's more vertical and she's kind of going at an angle, to where they're still showing a movement too. So movement and balance are going to be really important in your drawings. So now what we're going to focus on is the head for both of them. So this is where we get into not knowing the bones and all that, so I'll go ahead and try and describe them as best as I can for you. Now, since we have the main head where the brains are, or the main portion of the head, we got to figure out where we want the jawbone. Now, women, because they're built the way they are, they have smaller jaws than men, so we're going to go ahead and give this beautiful skeleton a very petite-looking jaw. Okay, and we do that with, well, it looks like a shape of a letter U. And honestly, the way I draw my skeletons and the way I draw my superheroes and any kind of people, like as far as this, the jaw is pretty universal. So if the kids are watching here, what you want to go ahead and do is actually draw a letter U more towards one of the end of where the actual brain bucket is, as far as what I sometimes call it. And then what we want to do is also draw a line up the middle, and that will be our guideline to show, number one, the center of the skull, but what we go off of to draw the eyes and the nose and the mouth when we draw heads. Now, this is going to be a little bit different because we're going to be drawing skeletons. So what we want to take in consideration is this line here is where it's going to show where the mouth or the teeth are. This line here is going to tell us where to put the nose hole. And about here is where we're going to put the eye sockets. Okay? And I'll show you what I mean. So just go ahead and watch and you'll see. Okay, so we have the cheek bones. And then we have the top row where the teeth go. And we got the bottom part of her jaw. And then we got the top part of the cheekbone. Now, I don't know how much detail we're going to put into this depending on the time that we have, but we're going to try and get as much detail as we can. Hey, Rick, welcome. It's good to see you, sir. We're just doing a little bit of drawing here for the Inktober challenge, but also just to kind of show kids how to draw. So if you want to bring your kids in to watch the thing, watch the video, we're going to be here till about 4. So you guys are more than welcome to kind of join along. We're drawing skeletons for the Day of the Dead for right now. That's the topic for this first drawing. So we've got, right now, just to go back a little bit, we've got the cheekbones. We got where the mouth is going to be. And for the nose, when it comes to a skeleton, you just want to draw a a triangle. And that'll suffice right now for that. And then for the eye sockets, those will just be general circles. And I'm going to trace around a little bit here to make some of the lines darker. Now, I know that you guys are probably thinking that the eye sockets are going to be shaped to show that a skeleton can be mean or happy or whatnot. And quite honestly, the eye sockets for the human skull are almost very round because we have all our muscles that control the way our face rolls. The one thing that we do have is eye ridges. And those give us those bumps over the eyes where our eyebrows go. And then the skull does actually fill out a little bit more here, so I'm going to fill that in real quick so we don't have alien skeletons. And then I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay. Okay, so we have our lady skull, and she, as you can tell, is looking at our male skeleton. So we're going to go ahead and now focus on his skull. Now, what we're going to do, because we drew her at what would be almost a 3/4 view, and let's see, 3/4, to where they're kind of looking like this. Well, she's going to be looking at him, so we're going to give him a profile look to where it's still going to be a U like his, but it's going to actually be a little different shaped U. And we're going to come down straight, and then we're going to come about here and then connect the two. And male skeletons, because they're bigger mostly, some of the guys, like me, I'm a big guy, so I'll have a big jaw. They're square and angular, whereas a female skeleton would probably be more supple, more rounded, if that makes any sense. And then we go from there. Now, because we're seeing the profile of the male skeleton, we want to take into consideration about here is where the eye sockets are going to be. About here, since it's going to be so small, is where the nasal or the nose bridge is going to be. That's that little top of the nose. Like if you have, here's the nose for, you see that? Yeah, you should be able to see that. Here's the nose. Draw that a little bit more. Okay, for a skeleton, they're not going to see all that because unfortunately that's all decayed. So this is all the way. So all you'll see is that. Okay, so we'll go ahead and go with that. And then we're going to take into consideration where their teeth are. And honestly, it's going to be pretty easy because the skull juts out a little bit, and that's what helps your lips pucker out as well, along with a few other muscles. So, and then, unlike the female, we're not going to draw circles for the eyes. These are going to be different. These are going to be half moons. And the reason for that is because it's a profile view of the skull. Okay? And then how we have the female's cheekbones, we have to also make sure that we get the male cheekbones too, because they have them on their side, but we're going to put them here and draw, kind of looks like a vampire tooth. Cool. Okay, and we'll make sure we have a smaller jaw because the jaw is usually not that big. So here we have a profile, and we'll get the ridge right there, of a male skull for a male dancer for the Day of the Dead skeleton. And we got to put it in a line in there for the mouth so that way he can open it, and we'll make the jaw right here so that way the skull can talk. But I don't know, what does a dead guy have to talk about? Hey, he's dead. Hey, I'm dead. I'm a dead guy. I can talk. I'm talking because I'm dead. I'm dead because I'm talking. I don't know. So, and that's how we draw the basic profile of the skull. Now, you can get in as much detail as you want into that, depending on what's going on. But since it's just going to be a simple drawing, we're going to keep it as that. So, as you can see so far, we got 2 heads. We still have the skeleton for the male dancer, and we have it for the male or female dancer. Now we got to focus on, let's see, we're going to focus on the rib cage because that's going to give us a lot of where the body is, and we're going to go from there. So we're going to figure, now like I said, the female skeleton is a more petite than the male skeleton. Just that's the way the good Lord made it, or the way we evolved, depending on what farm you're coming from. Okay, and then again, the man, or not the man, but the male skeleton is going to be more broad-chested, and that gives him, what do they call? There's a cool Spanish word for it, and I forgot it. Oh, machismo. Gives him his machismo and gives him more virility or more male manliness kind of thing. So, and they both, as you can see, look like eggs. And it's about what the ribcage looks like. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a moment and kind of look at how the structure is. Everything's looking good so far. We got the female's ribcage in here. Now, we want to find out on her position, we want to figure out where the center of the chest is. So we're going to go ahead and figure right about here is where the center of that is. And if you can tell, even though it's a guideline, you can tell that it's starting to kind of flare out and kind of be more 3D looking. And we're going to do the same thing with the male. So he's facing her, so we want to put that center line more this way. Because even though we know that we look with our eyes and we look with our face looking at the person, we also look with our bodies. So the body wants to go, his body wants to look at her body. And so we want to figure like the eyes are here, and here's the center of the body's face. And so it's more pointed towards her, and hers is more pointed towards him. So that's how that's going to be structured here. And we do want to do the same thing with the hips. Now the hips, the way I imagine it, it's kind of like having an elephant in your pants. And I know that sounds really weird, but bear with me. Hang on just a second. I'll explain. So here we have the top of the elephant's head. And we'll do that here for him too. He's got an elephant too. And we've got the elephant ears that come around. And then we got the elephant cheeks. And another elephant cheek. Okay. And then, because elephants always forget, we got to draw a hole in the head. Because that's where all the important stuff gets lost. And so as you can see, it looks like an elephant head minus the trunk. The same thing with the other skeleton. We'll draw their elephant here so we can find out where their hips are, where their pelvic bone is, and make that elephant forgetful. Okay, so hopefully that makes it understandable of where that is. Now, pretty much, when it comes to a skeleton and the Day of the Dead kind of thing, there's not much other that we can draw other than what they're wearing, because skeletons, unfortunately, can't be naked, and they probably get cold, and then they get shattering bones, and that's probably why we hear all the rattling during Halloween. But that's my theory. You can come up with your own. So what we're going to do, because girls take a lot more time in getting ready and all that stuff, we're going to work on her first so that we can get done quicker. And I know that my wife, she takes a long time to get dressed, so we're going to make sure that she starts first so that way she can look pretty and feel good about herself and look good. Let's go on. So as far as that's concerned, now a lot of the females that I've seen have hair, so we're going to give her a beautiful hair. Unfortunately, she won't have ears, but we don't want to draw an ear hole because it doesn't speak to show that it's something that real people have. I mean, people have holes in their heads, but they don't want to show it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put a circle here and a circle here, and we'll go ahead and talk about that in a little bit and what that's going to be. So we want to go ahead and draw kind of like another circle around the top part of her head. And what that's going to do is that's going to give the impression of where her hair and her hairline is. Sorry, I'm listening to the music, guys. Anybody else joining so far? No? So we have Michael, we have Couch, we have Rick. You guys are welcome. We also have Chris. He's here as well. So we've got a kind of a nice little group going here, guys. I hope you're drawing along with me. And if you're not, then, well, pick up a pen. I mean, it's always good to have an art community going, and that's what we're here for, is to go ahead and encourage each other as artists and show that we can cartoon and draw and all that stuff. So I'm drawing a circle up here, and this is going to be where what I'm going to put in here is a ponytail for her, where the headband or the elastic band or whatever, however they tie their hair up, because unfortunately, like you saw, I don't have any hair to know what that stuff is, so I don't remember it stuff. Okay, so now even though it's going to be in a ponytail, we're going to give her flowing hair, because that, to me, is very pretty and very beautiful. And it can be what we call aesthetically pleasing. And what that means is it makes it to where the person looking at it, the actual drawing, they'll like it more, because it makes them feel that the picture is prettier, as opposed to putting it into a bun. Now, I'm not saying anything about hairstyles, because there are people that do like buns. I prefer long flowing hair, because that's what I like. And because I'm the artist, I get to create this one. Now, for those of you that want to become artists, we don't always get to draw what we like. And that's only because people will ask us to do drawings and they want it drawn the way they like it. And we have to keep that in mind. But since this is just for fun, we just have to use our imaginations and create the way we want to go ahead and see them look. So that's why I'm drawing this skeleton with longer hair, as far as that's concerned, and we can go ahead and design that however we want. Now, if you think your lady skeleton has short hair, you can go ahead and give her short hair. That's not a problem. That's up to you, because you are in control. You are the one drawing your drawing. So we've got her hair going here, which is good. Next, now when I've seen Day of the Dead dancers, the ladies usually wear a very beautiful dress. And now I'm going to be truthful here with you. When it comes to women's clothing, that is where I struggle, because women's clothing is so beautiful and so ornate that a lot of it I forget. So I apologize if it isn't as pretty as it can be here. So I'm going to do my best, and I want you to do your best too, because I want you to like your drawing. Now, a lot of the stuff I see in that style of dress is the women use what's called as a choker to go around the neck. So we're going to go ahead and put that here. And on that choker, there's usually a beautiful rose or a flower of some sort. So we're going to put a circle here, and we'll get back to that later, as far as that's concerned. And then next, a lot of the dresses that I've seen have it to where if she had her muscles or flesh or whatever, her shoulders would be right about here. So we're going to go ahead and give her a collarbone so we can see where the shoulders will be. Okay, and so that's going to be our lady's collarbone. And then it's about where the top of her bone would be for her arm, her humerus. Remember talking about that? This is going to be her humerus bone. Okay, so and then let's draw the top part of the dress. Now this is going to not, I think it's called shoulder. I don't want to say topless, because that's not right. We want to make sure she has a top, so that way she doesn't show her rib cage. And we'll make sure that's a pretty sizable piece of fabric. Okay, so that's good. And then we'll have the not a bustier. I think those kind of dresses have something called a corset. And so we're going to draw a corset. Now, the corsets come in many designs here, so we're going to go ahead and design a corset that is flattering but very ladylike, because we want to make sure that as gentlemen we're very respectful to women, whether they are dead or not. And so we want to make sure that we get the bosom right, and make sure that that is covered properly so that we don't show the ribcage part of that. And then the corset comes down to show where the bottom of the ribcage is. And then we're going to go ahead and have it spray out like that to show where her hips would be. Now, the way I've seen most corsets, they come down into a point like an arrow, which is good because that actually shows a flow of the character's body and kind of actually adds flair to the dress from what I've seen here. And I'm not saying I'm an expert or anything like that, but that's what I'm showing here to show you what I've seen and what I've experienced in my time growing up and whatnot. Because I actually used to be a dancer in my elementary days, and we did have to go ahead and dance for the Day of the Dead, and it was pretty cool. I mean, I was the gentleman, and the young lady that I got to dance with had a very beautiful dress, and it flared out just like that, and her corset was just like that as well. So, as you can see, with just a few guidelines, we've been able to go ahead and draw the skull and her hair, her top corset, and it's off the shoulders. We've been able to go ahead and express where that is and where her choker is. And when I also come down here, we draw that guideline here. Start drawing the neck bones. Yeah, I got that. So far, we got the top part of her, and we want to make sure that we also do the arm here. Now, in the forearm, I don't know if you guys know it, but we have a bone. Here we go. I have a bone here and a bone here, and that helps hold the hand and control the wrist. And that's whether you're a boy or a girl. So when we draw this, we're going to actually draw it like we're drawing the arm like normal. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and draw a hole in the middle, so that way we can make sure that we can show that she has two bones, just like everybody else does. And we're going to keep the wrist simple. We're just going to go ahead and draw a circle there. Now, because she's a lady, and because I really like the design, we're going to make the hands really simple. Okay? Now, actually, let me get some water here real quick. As you can see in the hand, each hand has its own little bones. Now, because of the size of the drawing, that's going to be really difficult to draw. So most ladies, when they wear dresses like that, had gloves because that was a very proper thing to do, and it was very fashionable. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and draw gloves with no fingers, because that's how I've seen them before, and I think that it's a very beautiful look. Very nice, very petite still. And then the cool thing is we can still keep it scary and draw the skeleton bones of the fingers. Let's see. She's got a pinky here. We got a thumb bone here. We got a pointer finger bone here. And then we got a middle finger bone here. And I guess a ring finger there, yeah. And so she's wearing a glove here. And we'll kind of get that flare out a little bit. So later when we go ahead and do that, we can go ahead and make it all nice and lacy and pretty. Now, this is what I like about women's clothing. Because she is in a dress, all we have to do is make sure that we follow the flow of her body. And then draw the dress around her accordingly. So that way we still show the shape of her body, but then We don't have to draw the leg bones or anything like that. We just drew the leg bones before so that we knew what the shape of her body would be formed as. So if you guys will give me a moment, I'm going to go ahead and finish up and draw the other arm for her. There's her other humerus. And her other arm, or forearm. And the wrist and thumb. Fingers. Now, because of something, a couple terms a lot used in artwork, like overlapping and foreshortening and all that. Well, not foreshortening, but overlapping, really, you wouldn't see the other ones because the fingers, the way they look in this view, you're going to see them like this. And so you can't see these back fingers when she's doing this. So we won't draw them. So, and really, you shouldn't need to unless you want to create extra work for yourself. Which, honestly, artists can be lazy at times, and they don't want to do all the work, especially if it isn't seen by looking down straight at the drawing. Now, when it comes to these dresses, I'm not sure what they have a special, wonderful name to them. And I'm not exactly sure what they are. I'll have to do some research on that to find out. But they're layered, and they're layered in such a way that they flare out like a big fan, and kind of makes the young ladies look like a flower. And that's, I'm sure, it's how the culture is centered around. It's supposed to go ahead and celebrate the young lady as a flower and treat her as a creature of beauty and of delicacy, delicateness, not delicacy. Sorry, because quite honestly, that's the way you should treat women, with politeness and gentility, and to make sure that no harm comes to her, and make sure that you show her respect and all that great stuff. And women, though guys are rough and tumble, you should treat them as well with the same amount of respect that they give you, because that's exactly how we're supposed to treat people. And I don't want to get into heavy into the rules, because that's what mommies and daddies teach you here, and they're doing a good job. So, and if they're letting you join me for your artwork, I appreciate it, because I like teaching you guys, and I know that you're having fun drawing and showing mom and dad what you can do. Okay, so that's our lady dancer in pencil form for right now. We'll get into the inks in just a little bit, but now we get to go and deal with our male dancer. And he's just all stick figure right now. I would say all skin and bones, but he's not even that. So let's see here. Let's give him a hat, and we'll give him a Zorro hat, because that, I think, is very debonair, and it'll match his tuxedo. And for those of you that do have ancestry within the Latino community as well as the Spanish community, please let me know if I say anything wrong, to let me know, because I do not want to cause any offense or anything like that. I believe that certain celebrations like Day of the Dead is actually really fabulous, and there's a lot of artwork that I really do enjoy that has influenced my own artwork because of the Hispanic culture and whatnot. So if I do say anything due to my own ignorance, I do apologize up front. And if there's any Spanish terms that I need to know, please let me know. Hi, Kathy. Welcome. Hope you and the kids are watching here. I'm just showing basically how to draw 2 skeletons with Day of the Dead so that we can continue with the Inktober challenge. And right now we've done the female character. We did the under skeleton, per se, to draw the skeleton of the young dancer, and we're working on the guy. So welcome, and I hope you enjoy yourself. Okay, so we've got the head, and we've got the sombrero. I hope I said that right. And so we've got that, and now the male skeleton, I've never seen them wear a choker, but I know that they have a collar that usually is pretty tight. So we're going to go ahead and give him a tie collar. And I do know that they have, what do they call that? Well, I'm going to call it lace. And it goes in front of where a tie would usually go, just to give them a little bit of delicacy and artistic flair. And then they usually have a gem right here. So yeah, I guess it's a male choker then. Yeah, as far as their costume is concerned. So, and that is usually, the way I've seen it, usually like a ruby, you know, or something, a really dynamic gem to go ahead and kind of show off. Because in dancing, and this is the way I've seen it, and those who know more than me, please correct me. It is a dance between the two, and it's in some form, when it comes to a male and female partner, almost kind of like a courting. And so little eccentricities like here we have the choker that is going to be flourished with a flower, and these will become flowers in her hair. That's to go ahead and entice him to keep him as her partner. And then, for example, things like on his laces that entices her to show that he is a good provider and is good to be a partner with him. Now, as far as you kids, I know that you guys probably don't understand all that stuff, and if you do, great. And there's a lot of history when it comes to drawing, and as artists, we have to do our background because we have to know why we're drawing stuff. I mean, for example, Toy Story is one of my favorite movies. But I have to know, if when I draw Buzz Lightyear, I have to know that he is a space guardian, and I have to go ahead and put him in the right costume. Well, if I put him in Woody's cowboy suit, that's going to make him look really silly, and you're not going to know that it's Buzz. You're going to think it's Woody all buffed out because Buzz is a pretty big guy. So, and he might not even fit Woody's costume. You know how silly that would look? But, irregardless, doing background of what costumes characters wear is going to be really important on what you draw. And give you the background so that way when those rich artist people say, hey, why did you draw this? And why should I buy it? Is it accurate? Because I want to buy it if it's accurate. Well, you're going to know because you did your research that it is accurate, because you did research on why the costume is designed, why it is as certain things are on it, and all that great stuff. And that's why I was explaining before about the drawing of what's going on with the flares of the lace and the stone and the flowers. So, I mean, oh yeah, almost forgot. So got so used to drawing people, I was going to go ahead and draw the skeleton's muscles, and that is not how we do it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put some neck bones in here underneath the skull, and we'll go ahead and wrap around that. And then I know why I did it, because I was drawing clothes, because his tuxedo jacket's hiding all his bones. Okay, and then we got the jacket arm. And we got that. Now, I know a lot of the stuff that I'm throwing at you guys is probably kind of advanced terms, and I want to make sure that everybody understands what's going on here as far as drawing. So if you guys do have a question on what is what and what we're going to be drawing here, or why I'm drawing certain areas, please go ahead and let me know that you're curious and you want to know more, because I want to be able to teach you here. And here very soon, I'm going to be launching my website, and it's going to have artist tutorials on it. And I want you to know the terms, and it's going to be very basic. It's going to show you how to do basic shapes and how to mold them together, and how to go ahead and build the things that you want, so that way you know how to draw a hover car, or you know how to draw your house, or even if you have a puppy, you want to draw a picture of your puppy, you can draw that. And then really just kind of flare out and really grow as an artist if that is something that is really a passion for you. Because as an artist, there are so many things you can do for people and for yourself that is really beneficial. And art can go into so many things. You don't have to do drawing. As far as it's concerned, I've got some very good friends that are artists, but you wouldn't know it because they do a different kind of art, like acting. And I mentioned that because I got to learn how to do that within my church community not too long ago, and it is a really labor-intensive activity. You have to remember lines, you have to make sure that you have the right costumes, and you have to make sure that when you talk to the other people in the play or the other demonstration you're doing, that they know their stuff, so that way you know to talk when they're done talking. And it's really an art form because you're not playing yourself, you're trying to play somebody else. Like for my example, my friends and I, we did a portrayal of Harvey. Now Harvey is a puka, and he is a very, very good friend to a gentleman that is a very kind gentleman. I can't think of his name. Elwood. And Elwood was played by a friend of mine, and the character really fit him. But the reason why I mention all that is the character Elwood, as well as Harvey the Puka, and my character all had to interact. And we had to use the same creative muscles that I'm using now to create this drawing, just in a different way. So the point that I'm getting at is, as an artist, there are many ways to be artistic, and that is another great way of doing it. So I definitely encourage you, if drawing is not your skill and you like being out in the spotlight still, that acting in plays or acting on TV or doing anything like that, that's a great way of doing it. But if you like acting and you don't want to be on stage, there was a really famous artist, also known as a puppeteer, by the name of Jim Henson. He created the Muppets, and he didn't go on camera, but he allowed his character to show through when he did the voice for Kermit. Spoilers. And he got to act that way. And I encourage those, if you are not really want to be on stage and you don't really want to go and draw, but you want to go ahead and do something artistic, maybe puppeteering is something you want to go ahead and do. And here at Storm Wilder Studios, we'll be actually diving into that as well, because that's a passion that I want to go ahead and actually explore as well, because I like puppets and I like what they can do and teach, and just really know how to build them as well. Okay, so we've pretty much finished the drawing for the pencil part of it. Now for the namesake for Inktober, we're going to get into the ink, and this is known as a Sharpie Superfine marker pen. You can get these anywhere. They've got them either at your grocery store, they got them at, well, I got mine at the dollar store. So there are people that say that being an artist is really expensive. It is really expensive if you don't know where to shop. You don't have to go to Michael's, although it's a really great store to go to because I go there myself. You don't have to go to the art stores or anything like that, or go online. Go to your local grocery store and get a super fine pen for your fine line markers. You can also find these, which are your what are these? Broad stroke markers, the chisel tip markers. These work really great when you're covering a lot of background space. And then just the fine markers, the Sharpies, that they're normally at the dollar store or the regular shopping stores as well. So now this is also where a lot of the creativity comes here, and really we decide what line goes where. So let's just kind of take a moment and find out where we want to go ahead and outline and really focus on. So we're going to start with a female dancer here, and we're going to go ahead and draw on her skull, accenting the bones, the cheekbones, and the eye socket, the other eye socket, and the nose bridge, and the sinus and eye ridge. So as you can see, the fine tip is a lot of the fine working. So that, like I was saying, I wasn't sure exactly how this is going to work with the fine lines, but we can even go in and work on her teeth. Now when it comes to teeth, we're keeping it very general, only because we don't want to get lost in the detail And we've got kind of a limited time of what's going on here with that. And then we want to draw her jawbone, making sure that we keep that as petite as possible. And we can't forget this hole here where the cheek usually goes, because that's all muscle, and because she's a skeleton, that wouldn't show. Okay, so we got the face of the skull taken care of. Now we want to get into her hair, and this is where the fun part gets to go, because now we can really actually design some of the drawing with the help of our marker, our pen. So I'll show you here in just a second what I mean by that. Okay, with that flare. Okay. Okay. See, now as you can tell, a lot of these lines I didn't draw with my pencil. So in that, if you guys are just starting, you're going to learn that it's going to take time to get a little confidence, because you're drawing with a permanent marker here, permanent pen, that you can't erase. And so you're going to have to determine where you want those lines, because they'll be permanently stuck on the page. And throwing your paper really isn't an option, because you're going to be throwing away a lot of hard work. Now, ultimately, if you feel the drawing is ruined, that's great. Don't waste the paper. Go to the other side, because that's what they have two sides of the paper for. Now, so here we have the hair, and what I'm doing here, I'm not drawing every individual hair, but what I want to focus on is basically to give the impression that she does have a head of hair. You see that? Okay, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and fashion a few things here. Put the hairband here with a little gem on it. And we'll just draw this long, illustrious hair that she has here. Now, when we get into the thicker markers, because we will be using them to add what we call thicker line weight, it just means that the line goes thicker to kind of give it more weight, make it look heavier, or make it look more dominant on the page to help give it form and whatnot. But anyway, we'll go ahead and get into detail. And some of these lines, they'll go away because we're going to be using it to color and accentuate where we want the dark parts of the hair to be, as opposed to where we want the shiny parts. So I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to be quiet here. Let you guys listen to the music while I go ahead and fill in some of the structure here. Okay. The choker here. It's gem. Now, because I'm using the fine liner, I usually try and stay away from filling in the dark spots, only because it is a fine tip type of pen, and that would take forever. I would want to go ahead and use the bigger markers to go ahead and fill in the bigger areas, only because it doesn't take so long, and it's a lot easier. Because just because it's hard to draw doesn't need to make it any harder on yourself. Okay, so here we have the young lady's head with hair, and we got the jaw, and we're going to go ahead and color in the eye sockets. And the nose socket, and the cheek hole. So far, so good, everybody? Hope you're able to follow along so far. If I'm going too fast, please let me know. Okay. So, and then we get to go down a little more and deal with the collarbone. And go here. The other collarbone where they meet. And we'll flare out some of the ribs here. Okay, and then the back where the spine goes, that goes here. Okay, so far so good. Boy, it's getting kind of scary. Huh. Well, if this is as scary as, if yours is as scary as mine, I think we're all doing pretty good. So here we have the dress top. Like we said, it was to where it didn't have a shoulder strap, but this is more like just off the arm here, or just on the side of the arm where this would be, and the muscles, this would be called the deltoid area, or the round part of the shoulder, and that's where that would hang. But it's right now hanging on the humerus. Okay, and I got the humerus button on that side. And then that's where the whole of the arm would go. And there we go with that. Let's make sure it connects up to the top. And then draw the humerus bone itself for the top part of the arm. And then I'm going to go ahead and cover it here real quick so I can get a hold of drawing the forearm. And okay, so I got the forearm, and like I said, they've got two bones in the arm and the forearm. You do too, so just in case. So if you've ever broken your arm, I'm sure you've seen the x-rays to where either it was this bone or that bone. And if you got both broken, boy, you were probably having a really bad day. Okay, we're going to keep the, like I said, keep the wrist really simple because there's a lot of little bones in that. We don't really going to get into that. And then, like we did before, we are going to go ahead and draw the young lady's glove, or the female dancer's glove. I don't know how old. Since she's kind of skin and bone, she's kind of like an old lady, wouldn't she? I don't know. Go ahead and comment below. Let me know. And then we got the fingertips, or the finger holes, the glove that she's wearing. And now we get to do the thumb bone, and the finger bone, and another finger bone, and another finger bone, and the finger bone that goes to the pinky. Okay, great. So we have, wow, that's actually pretty good. Okay. And if it's yours guys looks like anything like that, you guys are doing awesome too. If it doesn't look like this, you're still doing good because you're doing better than I am. Okay, and then we have the corset. And I forgot to draw it before, and that's where the knowledge of using the marker helps, because whatever you don't add pencil, you can add in the pen. So we're going to go ahead and give her a little belt. Okay, and we'll do that. And we're going to go ahead and put a little spiral, and watch this. Spiral, flare, flare, flare. Like I'm drawing a cloud. We'll go around one more time. And bingo! She has got a belt with a flower on it. Okay, and then we'll draw the other side of the dress here. Now, because she's skin and bones, she won't have the rib bone muscles or her bosom or anything like that to kind of fill out the dress. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and add lines to show that the actual top part of the dress is tucked in under the belt. And it kind of makes it look looser here. And we're going to go ahead and do that up here, and that here, and here, and there, and there, and there. And I think that'll do that. Okay. Now we get to go into the dress. Now this is the easy part, guys. So we'll go ahead and flare this out. And that flared out. And this is, when it comes to this part of the dress, you can really go to town on this stuff and do a lot of overlapping designs, a lot of waves, and all that stuff. And don't forget, because it's tucked in here, it's going to be tucked in here. So we've got to draw those extra lines to show that it is. And then we're going to show the lines of the folds here. Get that. And we did give her a layered dress, so we're going to make sure we draw all the layers, otherwise it's going to look like she's got a dancing miniskirt. We don't want that because those dresses, as far as I've seen Mexican dances, they're really flowy, and then she wouldn't look like that flower like we were talking about before. She would look like a bud. So as far as that's concerned, let's go ahead and do that. This layer, and put that in. And we'll make sure. Now the cool thing is I'm going to show you something called overlapping. Now I've drawn this line to show the bottom of this level, but if we go ahead and end it here but don't connect it to this, and then take a line and go like that, you've just given the illusion that this top layer is over that bottom layer. So doing that again, because we can do that with the next layer, we draw the line to the side of the dress and a hook right here. You don't connect the two, we go ahead and draw the bottom part of the dress layer and do that across the page. Okay, and we'll do that on the same thing. We do it over here on this layer, and it'll show that it's overlapping on that end. And then the way we connect it is we go ahead and take this line, then this line, and draw it out, making sure that line touches that line we just drew. In the same way over here. So it looks like, if you can see, that this bottom layer is coming out of that top layer, and this bottom layer is coming out of that top layer. So it's overlapping each other. And it kind of gives the drawing dimension and helps it look kind of more like 3D, even though it's only 2D. So what you're learning to do is to create an optical illusion. And that makes it a lot more fun for people to view because they can see how a flat drawing can become a not so flat drawing. And because you did it, they'll thank you and they'll want you to draw one of their own. And that's how you get customers and all that stuff. And it can be tough in the beginning to do that, but there are a lot of people that really do enjoy artist work and getting customized work. So as you can see, with the fine tip, we've been able to go ahead and draw the skeleton of the lady and her dress and all her costume. Though we didn't get the other arm here. We'll go ahead and do that real quick, so give me a second here. I'm going to show you what I did with pencil here as much as I can. Some finger bone, okay. We got the first arm bone. Second. Okay, now we're cooking. So, we've got the entire drawing of the young lady almost done. I'm going to still add the thicker lines, and I'll show you what I mean on that. But let's get our male dancer done. And we're just going to go ahead and act as if they're connected. And not start on his hand, but start on his clothing. Okay, water break. Hey, Brian. Good to see you, sir. You and the kids are going to go ahead and draw. That you're more than welcome to. Just grab some paper and pencil and pen or marker. We're doing something for Day of the Dead for All Hallows Eve or Halloween or however you want to go ahead and call it. We've already drawn the female dancer. We're going to go ahead and draw the male dancer now. Okay. Now, as you can see, the male dancer didn't wear any gloves, so we have to make sure that we draw the bones that actually connect all the fingers. So here's the inside bone. That would be probably about this bone right here. Then, as you can see, if you go up the hand, you can see the little segments of the fingers. And the same thing with the thumb. So we have that. And now we're going to go ahead and come down the arm. Got that. Okay, so we got this jacket arm, and put that. Okay. And we got the frills, and we'll go ahead and make that encircle the neck. We don't want to draw over the neck, so I'm going to still draw that early in a second or two here. Now, just like we did with the dress here, the frills of the dress, we can do that with the frills of his little neck lace. And here. And we got that. And draw the jacket. Okay, and the collars to the jacket. See, and a lot of the clothing you can do has a lot of overlapping. Like the jacket here, you can see that is to where the jacket is overlapping the jacket, the shirt, or the shirt itself, not the jacket. Sorry, guys. And then we have the gem. And draw lines to show that it's going down. Okay, and then we draw some more folds of the jacket. And draw a pocket here that wasn't originally here. Remember, go ahead and ad-lib when it comes to using a marker. We'll make sure that he has his handkerchief, so that way, in case she sneezes, that she'll have something to blow her nose in. Don't know what, but probably skeletons have skeleton sneezes, which is possible, I hope, because we just invented it. And if they don't, then he's just going to have it there for flair. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and draw some tight spots here where the button is. And one more fold wrinkle here. And more wrinkles here. Now, like I said, we do that overlapping thing. We'll take the bottom of the jacket, overlap the leg, but not connecting the line here. And we're going to go ahead and draw it closer to the pant leg. I'm going to take the top of the pant leg and connect all three of those. And then we have it to where the jacket is now overlapping the pants. Okay. Now, I want you guys to pay attention right here. Right here, I made a mistake, and I thought I'd try to cover it up, and it didn't work with a thin marker. But you'll see once I start going to the thicker markers, that line weight thing that I was talking about, that'll help you cover up a lot of the mistakes that you make, or the mistakes that you feel you've made, and hide those under a thicker line. Okay, we'll draw the leg here. And put the leg there. Okay. The wrinkle of the arm, the poor guy's armpit is, and we do that. The arm will be overlapping here. Okay, and we'll do the sleeve and the shoulder. All right, we got that. Oh, and another thing, guys, if I was not filming and I was talking, that is perfectly normal. So if you don't talk when you don't draw, that's okay. But if you do, that's still okay, because it just means that you're thinking out loud. So you guys are helping me think out loud, and I want to thank you for that. Now, we didn't talk much about drawing that hand, but because this one is more exposed, I have a feeling it's going to be a lot easier to talk about this one. So we're going to keep it really simple, but enough to show the bones of the hand. We're going to go ahead and draw a bone fist, because I just decided that we're going to have him holding a rose for her. So we want to figure that we have a finger bone here that goes up to the knuckle, and a finger bone here that goes up to the knuckle, and a finger bone here that goes up to the knuckle, and a finger bone here that goes up to the knuckle. You know, make sure that those are the knuckles are drawn. And then we have one for the thumb. Okay. And then what we're going to do, we're going to actually put the marker down for a moment. I'll put that right there because we'll need it. Because I don't want to make a mistake, I'm going to go ahead and go back in and draw the flower stem. And we'll do a circle here for the flower part of it, and a teardrop for the leaves. And then The way I draw a rose, it's actually pretty simple. We start with a spiral, and then shoot down, and then here with that odd shape, and there, same, almost same odd shape. And then we have a little small little crown that'll act as the smaller petals on the flower. Now myself, because I think it's too far away, I don't think we'll see the thorns. But otherwise, if it was up close, you would actually draw the thorns in the rose. Now, here's another lesson you can learn in overlapping. Because he's holding the rose, we want to go ahead and draw the stem here, but we don't draw it over the bone. We draw it underneath, or we draw it in between it, making sure that the finger bones look like it's overlapping, if that makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, well, let me know, guys. I'll be more than happy to explain. Okay, and then we draw the leaf, and the stem in the leaf, and that leaf, and the small little petal crown, and then that thumb bone is going to be covering up this leaf, so it's overlapping there. Okay, and then we're going to take a moment to just draw over the lines of the rose. And it's a spiral. You shoot down. Okay, and we'll connect the part of the stem. So we have a rose going there. Now, usually when they do the tango, either the male dancer or the female dancer has it in their mouth, but I have a feeling because they have that hole right there and the hole that'll be drawn there, it'll fall through. So that's why he's going to hold on to it. Okay, so we're almost done with that. Let's see here. What is that? Okay, we'll scoot that over a little bit. And we'll draw the skull to the guy dancer. Okay. So that's a neck bone. And the jawbone, and we'll draw the teeth. And the nose bridge, and the sinus, and eye ridge, and the eyeball. We'll color that in. And the cheek hole. And then we have the cheekbone, and that hole. Okay, now I'm going to turn the drawing a little bit because the angle is a little awkward for my pen, but I'll put it back when I'm done. Okay. And the brim of the sombrero, and then main part of the sombrero, and the ribbon that goes on the sombrero. All right. And that is our male dancer. Now, let's see here. Let me make sure I show you guys here. So, that is the basic drawing for the Day of the Dead. This is where we're going to get into the artistic flair, and we start using this marker and this marker. And these will go ahead and allow us to have thicker weights. But as an artist, you have to know that when you do the thicker line art, you don't have to copy all the lines. Having thin and thicker lines gives it a variety and allows your eye to move all over the picture instead of having to kind of glance over it and make it kind of like a boring drawing. Now I'll show you what I mean here in just a second. Let me go ahead. I'm going to take a moment to go ahead and listen to the music, and I'm going to go ahead and show you what I mean on our lady dancer. Okay, so like I said, line weight will help you determine the difference between the thin lines and the thicker lines. So as you can see, the ones I wanted to accentuate are basic form, the dress form itself, and then where things fit in. Like, forgot the thumb there, so that way that shows. And it separates the minor detail from the big detail. So we're going to take a moment and do that with him too. So I'm going to go ahead and move that down here a little bit. Okay. Okay. Let me try this a little bit so I can get at those angles. All right, so far so good. Okay, so do you remember when I was saying here, and I'm going to focus in on this here, that here is where I screwed up? Well, as you can see, I covered that up with the line weight. And as far as that's concerned, so that is no longer an issue unless I didn't tell you about that. You guys wouldn't have seen that. You wouldn't have known it unless you were really looking for it. And that's going to be a lot of what you see with the artwork that you do for friends and customers and colleagues and clients and whatever other words you want to use it for here. So now we're going to go ahead and add a little accent. And I've been doing this with a lot of my drawings for the Inktober thing, is I want to be able to kind of accentuate them both, so, and make sure that they're a group, because I've been putting them in a really cool box, and I want to make this, give a shout out to James Reyes who is a fellow artist, and showed me that it kind of helps give them a little bit of professional feel to them, and really is kind of stylistic in some ways. So if you want to go ahead and use this highlight, I certainly encourage you to use it, and kind of gives a special, I don't know, a spotlight to the actual characters in some fashion or form. So I would highly recommend it. I would recommend doing it in a ventilated room, because these markers do stink and can give you a bit of a sick feeling if you use them too much. So definitely, moms and dads, make sure that you have an open window or the room is well ventilated for the kids here, so that way they can go from there. And it looks like my marker is dying. I must have used it a lot. So go ahead and see if I can finish this up. But yeah, this has been our rendition of Day of the Dead. There are many, many out there as far as that's concerned. As far as doing study on it, if you want to do more research, because like I said, as artists, we have to research what we're doing so that way we know what we're drawing and we can talk about what we're drawing, like I'm doing today. We have to go ahead and do research, and Google, honestly, really is a good resource to have. So I would encourage you to go ahead and use that, and put in either Day of the Dead or Dias de la Muertes, and that's DIA LOSMUERTES, and I'll go ahead and leave a spelling in the description on the comments, so that way you guys can go ahead and research it for this particular thing. Because if I know anything, the Hispanic culture is diverse and very multi-layered, and this very generic interpretation is not really doing it any justice, quite honestly. I know that, like I said, my artwork is influenced by that culture a lot of the time, and I can honestly say that I don't know enough about it to really say that I'm an expert on it, but every time I do work with it and study about it, I learn something new. So as far as my friends as young budding artists, I encourage you to study more, go to your local library, use Google. For those of you that have friends that celebrate Day of the Dead, ask them about it. Ask them what you would like to know, what it's about, why they celebrate it, and what you can learn from it. And that way, number one, you can share in their traditions and learn from them. And then if it's something that you enjoy, you can celebrate with them. If it's something that you don't feel is that you want to explore, then at least you know about it, as far as that's concerned, and you know that you've given it a chance, and essentially know that it's just not for you. But always never look a gift horse in the mouth, or never judge a book by its cover, because you never know what you may be giving up when you say no to learning. Now, granted, there are some things out there that just like anything else, that learning it really isn't something you need to be doing, whether it's something you don't know, don't like, or whatever, or want to know more about. I'll leave that judgment up to you, and for the kiddies, I'll let Mom and Dad help guide you on that, because there are always some things out there that we don't need to learn about because they're dangerous, and Mommy and Daddy tells you that they don't want you doing stuff like that only because they care about you and worry about your safety. I want to make sure that you guys are safe. So kids, please listen to Mom and Dad and let them know what you want to know more about, and then they can help make it a safe environment for you to go ahead and do so. Or if it's just totally unsafe, then they'll certainly tell you, and just trust them that they know that they have your best interests at heart. They don't want to bring any harm to you at all. As do I. I want to make sure that you guys are safe, happy, and healthy as far as that's concerned. And I want to make sure that you can return again to draw with me, because I like having friends in the art community to talk to and share my artwork with. And I hope to see your artwork of what you've done, either to join me or what you've decided that you want to show me, and what I can help show others of what you're doing, because I do plan on doing that for all my friends that send me their work, that I do plan on showcasing it and showing how awesome you guys are, as well as what we all can do as friends of the art community. Now, along with the box, I'm actually adding a flare of an outline just to give it a few things here. Kind of being artistic and taking what they call artistic license, and I'll explain that more as I do more drawings and whatnot. But I'm going to consider this one done, and I do want to thank Marcy and Rich for the idea. Marcy, like I said, this one is going straight to you here, and we're going to make sure I sign it, so that way they know who created it, know it's from. And you can watch this. I'm going to make sure we can see it. It's going to be Day of the Dead, or Dias de Muertos. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Where? Oh, spelled it wrong. Sorry, Marcy. It's going to look a little messed up. Muertos. Okay, so scroll into that. You can see that. Uh-oh, it's fuzzy. Maybe a little fast, closer. Okay, as you can see, it says Day of the Dead, D-I-A-S space D-E space M-U-E-R-T-O-S. I'm sorry, that's fuzzy. Okay, so we got about 20 minutes left, and that's about enough time for a short drawing. We can't really go into detail with that, so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to do a really cool cartoon. And then with that, we're going to go ahead and, let's see here. Well, you guys can't see that. Well, because I used permanent markers that left a bunch of spots on the page from leftover marker, because if you can see on the back, it bled through, which is kind of cool in the drawing of that too. It look like ghosts of the dance. Oh, excuse me, ghosts of the dancers, and then their skeletons. So that's kind of funny. Okay, so what we're going to do is, and this is kind of more because I know how to use the marker a little bit more, and you guys will know this once you practice more, but we're going to go ahead and do a quick sketch of a goblin, because if it's Halloween and we got Halloween music going on, so just stay tuned. We'll see here. We got the eyebrows. Okay, we got his eyes. And his nose. More of a brow. And nose. More of the nose here. That top lip. Okay, and we make him have a greedy little smile here. Eyelids. Give him some teeth. And bottom lip. Okay. We'll give him a rounded, oblong jowl, also known as the jawline. A little funny looking chin. Let's see, I'm gonna give him a small little head on top. About that small. But our little ghoul, or goblin, is gonna have big ears. And because he's a rocker goblin, he's going to have an earring. But he's got hairy ears, so we got to put some ear hair in there. And we'll connect that part of it. But he's a cool goblin. And he also still has hairy ears on this side. But he doesn't have an earring on the other side because he thinks that having two earrings just isn't cool. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and give him some eyebrows, but we're going to use the wedge tip, making sure they're really thick. Okay, so we got that. And we're going to give him a little bit of a mohawk here, because we want a punk goblin. Okay. Got that. Oh, that's pretty good. And so we got the ears going, and we got the bottom lip. Let's give him some more teeth. There we go. And you don't have to have exact teeth on the same side. And let's see here. Let's give our guy a little body. You have a big head and a big little body. So let's see. Here we got the neck, little neck, and the shoulders. Boy, somebody's not having a good time. Let's see here. And we'll draw the hands. And we'll make him hold the bag, because goblins like going to trick-or-treating too. And give him a little fur down there. And short little stubby legs. Well, knees, because you got to bend your knees. But because he's got a big head, we got to make sure he can balance. So we got to give him some big old feet. Big toe there. Toe there. Toe there. And we'll finish that off because he's got a toe there. Okay. And then we don't want him walking lopsided, so let's see here. Big toe there. Big toe here. Big toe there. Boom. Okay. And let's see here. I'll go ahead and accentuate here, and we'll put a pumpkin here. Put a happy pumpkin there. And so we got that. Now, it's my experience that we put more detail in it. People like the work. So we're going to go ahead and use our big marker to go ahead and do that. It looks like the sun's coming out to help us out, which is good. So we're just going to put some spots on. A little random here. Okay, how much time we got here? Ooh, we got about 11 minutes. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to cover up the feet here with some hair. There we go. And we'll put a toenail right there. But it's going to be a well-groomed toenail and some more on the little feet because he is, though he's a goblin, he's a well-groomed goblin at times. I mean, you kind of have to be because if you have a earring and a mohawk, I mean, that takes talent to go ahead and put that on. Okay, now we did our drawing with a thick marker. Now, we still have to add line weight, so we're going to go ahead and use the thicker marker to help with that, to add line weight to him. So we'll cover that up here. Okay. We'll color that in. This little tunic here. Music is really getting me into the mood of the Halloween stuff. So before I go, I do want to make, like I said, make an announcement. Landing Place Church is doing a trunk or treat on Sunday, which is tomorrow, at Reunion Park in Commerce City, Colorado. For those of you that are in the area, I do recommend that you join, and just really come out to be a part of the community, get some candy, and I'll be there. I'll be in costume, so if you guys can identify me, that's all the better. And if you can't, then well, at least I'll be able to be there to get you some free candy. Get there early because last year candy went quick. There were a lot of kids, a lot of needy kids that didn't get to experience Halloween, and being that we want to make sure that they know what it's like to be a part of a giving family, that we want to go ahead and do that. So I encourage you to show up. Now, if you don't want to, but you want to do stuff with the church that actually celebrates that stuff, there are others that are in the Northland area that I've been to that do a harvest festival. I don't know if they've had it, but Village Church does one, which should either has already happened maybe. I'm not sure. I haven't talked to many from there yet lately. But they also do one. They do. It's pretty fabulous that I got to be a part of at one time. I know that those in the California area, that I'm sure that Vantage Point Church will be doing one. They're a really good church, and that helps the community. And really just get connected, honestly. I mean, not so much to be a part of a church, but to be part of a community and a family, because that is where a lot of happiness can be found. Being a part of a group of loving and supportive people is always something I would recommend as far as it's concerned. And then whatever your personal beliefs, that notwithstanding, is what it is. So, that being said, we have our goblin for our Halloween celebration. I do want to thank everybody that joined me. Go ahead and turn this up here. And I am officially upside down because I've got the camera to fix. So hang on. I'm fixing. Okay, fixing. You can see my office/living room. And let's see here. Okay, well, sorry for the camera angle, guys. Kind of like a last-minute effort for a broken camera, so I do apologize. Hey, John, good to see you, sir. I didn't even give him a furry foot. So for those of you that join me today, I do plan on making this a regular thing, about once or twice a month, so that way you can go ahead and join me. I will be, hopefully within the next, I don't know, about a year, 6 months, I'd like to go ahead and put out an art book, so that way you guys can go ahead and actually get the basics, so that way you know what I'm talking about when we draw together. And then also be doing a lot of classes that'll be available to you via the website, which I'll be doing at stormwielder.com here very soon. I'll make that announcement. But as far as that's concerned, that's really all I have for today, guys. It was just a beginner thing to go ahead and try. For those that were interested in drawing with me, and you did, thank you very much. That's really great. If you can, take a picture and send it to me here on Facebook. And when I upload this video, I'll be more than happy to go ahead and display that and make sure that you get your shout out. And as far as that's concerned, that's all I have. So thank you guys for joining me. I hope you have a very happy holiday. And stay tuned for next month with the YouTube channel. Oh, that's the other thing. Please go to the YouTube channel, look for Storm Wielder Studios, and hit the like, comment, and subscribe button, so that way I can keep you guys informed of what I'm doing. The more subscribers and the more likes I get on those, the more it helps me promote that channel and make sure that you guys can see what's going on, and YouTube will see that I am actually bringing the benefit to the community, and they'll help support me as well. So please go to youtube.com and look for Storm Wielder Studios. And you'll see me. I've already got a lot of those videos for the Inktober put up. And as you see, I've got a lot of announcements for those that actually made those suggestions. So being that when Inktober is done on Tuesday, if you haven't done it yet, I still have to fill in for yesterday and today and tomorrow, plus Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for those days. So if you want to make a suggestion, you want your own special shout-out individually just for you, let me know. And you can send me a private message, and I'll go ahead and certainly make that announcement. You just got to let me know what topic you want. For example, with our drawing today was Day of the Dead, and that was suggested by my friend Marcy, who is a very awesome mom and has some great kids and a great husband, as far as that's concerned. She gave me that idea, and so now I'm giving her thanks as well as a personal shout-out, and she actually will get this original drawing. Her husband, Rich, actually made another great suggestion. He's going to get his drawing as well. So I'm just waiting for all that to go ahead and make sure I have the postage for it. But if you guys want your own original drawing, as far as that's concerned, let me know. Like I said, when I started this back on the 15th, the middle of the Inktober, they're totally free. I'm not going to charge, but it is one drawing per day per person. And seeing that as of about 4 more days, slots may fill up fast. So I want you guys to get your suggestions in. And as far as that's concerned, then I'll go ahead and message you and get your mailing information so I can get it to you. If I don't see you in person, that is. But other than that, guys, thank you very much for joining me. This is a wonderful day. I'm glad you got to see a little bit of my art process. I plan on announcing next month when we plan on doing it again. And again, for those who are in the Commerce City area, for tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock, trunk or treat for Landing Place Church. Come out and have some fun. Come and talk with me, and see everybody else and what they're doing as well. Get some candy. But much love to you guys. Keep your marker scratching, and we'll see you very, very soon. Okay. See ya.